found The Naked Truth. Lively discussions about business, marketing, and personal development for small business owners. No hype, just help.
So welcome to my new house in the Hamptons. I'm just here for the COVID thing.
That's a cool background, though. It's one of those ones that fits really good. Like you have to really look at it and go, is that really her background? Or is that like if people didn't know you and they'd go, wow, look at that. Like,
look at that, she just moved to the mountains. She's just staying away from all that stuff. So we are talking today about which social media is better for small business. But before we go there, we just want to remind you guys, our wheel of names. Add your name to the wheel of names. Simply
get yourself on the wheel, people.
Get yourself on the wheel. All you have to do is comment, engage, say hi, say something very interesting. Not just like comment, engage, say hi, but like actually contribute to the conversation, and then we would love to see you among us. And
I'm gonna tell you right now in advance what this Friday's thing is gonna be. Are you ready?
Yes.
If you win the Wheel of Names this week, I'm gonna bake you cookies and ship them to your house.
Really? Oh my God.
Yeah, we're changing it up. I'm gonna bake you the best oatmeal raisin cookies I've ever had in my life. I found the recipe, and I'm gonna bake them for you and ship them to you this weekend. They probably won't get there till Monday or Tuesday, but that's what I'm gonna do. If you win
the Wheel of Names, and all you have to do is comment, engage, hop on in here, say hi, join our conversation, because we're talking about which social platform should you focus on for your small business. And
if I had a nickel for every time I got this question,
I would have 10 nickels.
I could, yeah. Seriously, like this, I get this a lot. My mentor group, when I'm at like conferences and conventions and I'm talking to other hypnotists about building their business, this comes up over and over again. Which platform should I be using? Why is this one better than this one? All this stuff. We got to talk about it. So
we'll
how do we start? Where do we start, Ifat?
So we'll start with Twitter. Hey, Natalie Walsh, you are on the wheel. Hop on in, say hi.
Could be some cookies coming into your life, Natalie Walsh. So Twitter, all right, so right off, why should anyone care about Twitter? That's my question. Okay, and I mean that sincerely.
So first of all, what is Twitter? Twitter is microblogging, right? You can only post in 140 characters. That's it, right? And then when you run out of characters, you can start commenting below your first tweet and kind of like have more of an explanation around it. Why is it important? It's because everybody who hates Facebook and who hates social media and doesn't want to be on the internet, and with our really short attention spans, it's very easy for people to consume tons of information in a very short amount of time. And so more people are flocking to Twitter for those little micro tweets, right? I just want to know what's trending.
Are they really though?
They are.
Are they really?
When people say things trend, they usually say they trend on Twitter, right? Like where the trending happens and when things go viral, they go.
Who cares?
Who cares?
Why should I care? Because here's what, all right, I get what, and I'm being, you guys know, Ifat and I, like, we needle each other a little. I'm purposely being provocative, but there's a genuine, like, obviously Twitter has millions of users and they bring value to people somehow. But I got to tell you sincerely, for most small business owners, I don't get it. When I look at how people use Twitter, overwhelmingly, there's always exceptions and outliers, right? It seems like they're mostly looking to get microblogs from their favorite celebrities, and it seems to be a powerful way for journalists to communicate quickly and break stories quickly. Yes?
Yeah.
So like, as a small business owner, why should I care about that and want to participate in it?
Right. So we go back to like, what's your objective, right? As a small business owner, what is your objective? Are you trying to get visibility? Are you trying to get clients? Are you trying to get shared? Are you trying to go viral? Like, first of all, start with like, what do you want to achieve? Once you know what you want to achieve, then you go for the strategy. The strategy is like, if I want to trend, or if I want to get in front of people who are talking about a specific thing, then if I hop on to the hashtags of Twitter while they're trending, then I can get more visibility. And if I say something smart or cute or shareable, then I can get more people coming to my profile, looking at what I do, loving what I do, and supporting me. So it's a great way for you to get visibility and engagement if you know how to play with those trending hashtags, right?
So I can see when I used to be on Twitter, Ifat, I did get interaction from celebrities that I've never gotten anywhere else. Like 2 different times I got interaction with Ricky Gervais.
Yeah.
2 or 3 times I got responses or likes from Gary Vaynerchuk. There's something about that super short system that makes celebrities more willing to interact with people. Does that make sense?
Totally. And it's true. I got like, I always get the reaction from Gary V when I call him out. I was like, Gary, you don't pay attention to me. I texted you 5 times. It's like, I'm trying to get there. I'm like, okay. But every time I bitch at him, then that's when he comes back and says, hey, I'm trying. So Gary, if you're out there, I'm still trying to get you. But that's because it's so easy, and because everybody who is not on Facebook is on Twitter. If your audience is on Twitter, then you should play with there. Natalie says, which platform? The one that you use consistently. So yes and no, right? Yes, because if you use it consistently, probably you have an audience that is interacting with you. No, because you should go where your audience is, where your buyers are, right? So if your market is 15-year-olds, it's not going to help you being on Twitter. It's going to help you being on TikTok, right? So where is your audience hanging out? That's where you should be focusing your attention as a small business owner who wants to make sales and wants to grow their followers. Right, so we're assuming that the goal is to make more sales, right?
Right.
So if the goal is to make more sales, then the next question is, where are your buyers hanging out? Once you know where they're hanging out, that helps you decide which platform you be on. And it doesn't matter who's succeeding in what platform if your buyers are not on that platform.
Well, and so I tend to agree with everything you've just said. Of course, there's never one thing, right? So I think about my stage hypnotism student, Zach Pinsence, has over 3 million followers on TikTok, right?
Yeah.
He's not actively selling them anything.
Right.
And he's okay with that. It's an interesting, like, different way. So what he's doing is he just keeps, all he cares about right now is growing audience. He's like, I pretty much just care about growing audience. Yeah. Like, he's getting booked, he's indirectly selling because some of the high school kids that see him are then booking him through his agent, and some of the college students that see him are then booking him through their student activities council. So he is getting work from being on TikTok, but he's not directly selling anything. And part of me sometimes as his mentor, I'm like, Zach, like, sell something that really brings value to people. And he's like, nah, I'm okay.
But here's the thing, right? Like, this is super interesting. So his objective is not to monetize his audience directly, but he is monetizing the number of the audience through sponsorship, booking, and stuff. So again, what's the objective?
What he's doing that's really smart is he is actively making efforts to move his TikTok audience over to his YouTube. And he's gone from, a year ago, he had like 15,000 YouTube followers, and now he has over 300,000. And so again, his monetization of YouTube ad clicks is going up just by him moving and growing those subscribers at YouTube. So he's making more money that way.
But let's talk about that for a second, because YouTube ad monetization is nothing. Seriously, it's like you get, right? It's nothing. So really how you're monetizing your YouTube channel, same thing JP Sears was telling us, is not through the ad platform of YouTube, is through sponsorships, what do you call that? Like reviewing stuff, right?
Yeah.
The relationships that you have because you have an audience. So we have two ways of succeeding of social media. One, selling our stuff directly. If you're a retail store, if you have a program, if you're a coach, consultant, if you have an item that you want to sell directly, or by building an audience that then other people want to be in front of that audience, and so then they pay you to get in front of that audience.
And you see that on like TikTok too, right? You see people plugging drinks and clothing, and right, that does happen across the platforms. It's not just on YouTube.
Right. And so the value of being on YouTube, if we're talking about different platforms, the value of being on YouTube is that YouTube is the second largest search engine in the planet, right? And what's nice about YouTube is that if you show up in the related videos, right, then now you start getting traffic from people searching for things that you solve, right, or that you provide. So YouTube is a different animal, right? People go to YouTube to find out how to do things. So you have to teach on YouTube or entertain. So you teach or you entertain on YouTube. If you're teaching on YouTube, then you can use that platform to drive people back to whatever it is that you want them to do. Join your community, follow you, buy your stuff, refer your stuff, share your stuff. It all comes back to there's no perfect platform, right? What do you want to achieve? How do you want to achieve it? Do you want to sell something? Do you want to build an audience? If so, where is your audience hanging out? That's where you're gonna. That's the platform you're gonna be focusing on.
Isn't there, excuse me, isn't there a sort of profile to the mainstream audience at each platform though? Like, isn't it safe to say that while you could find your audience at Instagram, like if you do the work, you can find your audience there, that the overall Instagram audience is aspirational. Like they want to see, like they love looking at beautiful people, beautiful men and women, and they love looking at like travel photos, wishing they were beautiful like those people, or wishing they were traveling to these places. There's a lot of aspirational content on Instagram. So you can find a way to tap into that if you want, right? Like if there's a way that whatever you do can be projected as aspirational.
So this worked before COVID, right? Like Philip Stats was saying, they surveyed the consumers, and they have consumer report, and before COVID all that stuff was right. After COVID, nobody cares about inspirational anymore. They care about safety, trust, and helping others. And that's why seeing you in a bikini doesn't matter anymore to anyone who's trying to buy something, because we're not into status anymore. We're not into look at me with my great body. Like
that can't be completely true though, Ifat. It just can't be, because look at TikTok. TikTok is dominated by young girls in bikinis dancing. It still is.
Not all. There are the
but
dances,
it still is. It's not like it doesn't work. Like people still love watching Charli D'Amelio dance in her bikini. She's got like 65 million followers. Like they're not giving up on her because she's not stepping purely into other things.
Okay, so TikTok and Instagram are a little bit different, right? So TikTok is more of an entertainment thing and a trendsetter thing where everybody's dancing to something. But that dance is not going to lead into buy my coaching program, right?
Right.
So as a business, we're going back to the business. So yes, it's fantastic for, her or any 15-year-old or 20-year-old that's want to gather followers and monetize them like your friend does. As a business that sells something, if you want to have clients, then you need to stand for something nowadays in this climate, right? Whatever it is that you want to stand for. And the messages that work right now based on surveys, not, I didn't say that, trust, helping others, and safety. So you can use them in different ways, right? Like, so how does a pest control company talking about trust and safety and helping others? The messaging that Philip was sharing is like, hey, you guys are like, your whole family is stuck at the house right now. Do you know what's going to happen to your family if there are bugs in the house, these diseases, and blah blah. So let's keep your family safe. We're using these products that you can trust. So call us right now, and we're gonna do this pest clearing in your house so that your family stays safe now that they're locked in, right? So you're using the messaging about like, let's help others, we're trustworthy, and we're gonna keep you safe to market your things. How do you market that on different platforms is different, right? Like how would you do it with Twitter is different than TikTok, it's different than YouTube, it's different than Facebook, it's different than Instagram. But that's the thing. So if you want to attract teenagers on TikTok, then your messaging will be something that they stand for, like values, right? Like Black Lives Matter right now is pretty big, and they're all standing behind that, and that's what trends. If you want to approach professionals, you will go to LinkedIn, and you'll find out what's the LinkedIn messaging that matters to these professionals. It might not be anything political that's happening right now. It's probably going to be like remote work. How do I keep my team engaged while they're at the house? How do I facilitate technology so that my team is still productive, productivity tools and stuff like that? You'll have those conversations on LinkedIn. If you're on Instagram, you might have videos talking about like, here's how much money you can make. Here's how, our program is helping you achieve blah, blah, blah. Different messages to different groups. And that's the biggest challenge for small business owners, because they're running a business. They don't have the time to be like, okay, LinkedIn messaging, TikTok messaging, Instagram messaging, Facebook messaging, right?
So remember, I'm so glad you said that, because I remember, gosh, 10 years ago, probably about 10 years ago, when we were going beyond MySpace and then Facebook and then Twitter, and it started to be like, then Tumblr came out, and right when we got to a point where this began, there isn't only one place for me to exist anymore. What do? I remember that one of the earliest responses were these services that were like hub and spoke, right? Where you could have a program that you had an account with, and you could make a post and it would send it to every single, but it would send only the one post.
Right.
And that faded pretty quickly, right? Because people figured out, but the one post isn't going to work the same platform to platform to platform, unless it's a very incredibly designed post
or video or something, right?
Yeah.
So the thing is like, I built my entire brand on one platform with one show that most people could not care less about, right? Most of the world didn't think twice about Google Plus. But that has built my entire brand, because that were my passion, and that's where my geeky friends were hanging out. And because Google Plus was connected to Google Search, it was very, I was searchable. So it's not necessarily the platform that you're focusing on, is where is your audience? What is it that you're talking about that will apply to that audience? And how do you engage with that specific audience on that platform? So you might choose LinkedIn and forget everything else, right? Like you don't care about anything else, and LinkedIn will be that one source of constant clients to you, and you'll be full because you're a small business and you don't care. Or you might be like, okay, I'm gonna be just on Instagram and I'm just gonna do stories, and that's my whole thing, and that's what you focus on, and you shine there, and you get 1,000 people following you, 1,500 people following you, you convert them a little bit, and that's it, you're done. So you can run your business, you can be visible to your audience through the channel that they're engaging with, and you don't worry about all this other stuff. The one thing that I would say about this whole thing, though, is like, remember what happened to me with Google Plus. I built my entire brand on Google Plus, and then they shut down the platform. So whatever platform you choose to focus on, don't build your home on rented properties. Right? Always bring them to your site, always collect their information, always have their email address, so you always stay in touch with them regardless of how, like Paul, you were saying, platforms come and go. We had MySpace, we had Tumblr, right? We had all that stuff.
And I mean, I remember, I don't have the will to try to keep up with all the platforms. I just don't have the will for that. So what I've always done is I'm like, all right, just watch the people who do. And for me, that's always Gary Vee, right? So Gary Vee's always looking at, like, it's almost like he treats them like stocks.
Yeah.
Who's up and who's down. And he does all of them, but he doesn't do them all equally, right? He plays the market sort of. He spends more time posting on what's up and less time on what's down, and he shifts with it as they shift. So I remember when Tumblr came out, he was huge on Tumblr. He thought Tumblr was going to be the next Facebook, right? And he said that and said that and said that, and then it didn't, right? And then I remember he did the same thing when Snapchat came out. He was Snap. He's like, Snap is going to be it. Buy Snap, buy stock in Snap, do other, and Snapchat didn't do it either, right? And now he's doing the same thing. I keep hearing him. He's like, TikTok and LinkedIn, TikTok and LinkedIn. He's like, you cannot find more attention at a lower cost than you can on TikTok and LinkedIn. So, you know, what I love about Gary is he's always watching, and he's got people working on, you know, finding the metrics in the background to prove that stuff. But even he long-term doesn't get it all right. And that's his whole like business life, right? Is watching that stuff intensely all the time.
But he's not building his own intellectual properties. He's sending everybody to his SMS platform. So now everybody's on his SMS and they're getting text messages and all that stuff. But you just said something super important. You said TikTok is the low cost. What did you say? Low cost.
So it's like low. What's the lowest cost for attention? Is that's the way Gary always frames it, right? It's like, where can you get the most attention for the lowest cost?
So that means that the lowest cost, that's ads. So now we're talking about two different things, right? We have ads to get in front of an audience for the lowest cost. And then we have the organic stuff, which is what most of us are doing, which is naturally posting up there.
But the organic is part of that too, though. It's not, the organic matters too, because it also is how noisy is a platform, right? So at first, my buddy Zach, when he was an early adopter on TikTok, and that's part of why he has like nearly 4 million followers now, is he was catapulted, you know, to front stage because he was the earliest hypnotist to get on TikTok. And so now he's literally called the TikTok hypnotist.
Nice.
You know, if he had come in 2 months later than he did, I don't think he would be where he is right now. So he got in when the noise level was really low. Right. And now he doesn't have to overcome that noise like the rest of us would.
Right. And so, but again, you know, when a lot of people are looking at it, go like, wow, 4 million followers. Great. How do you monetize that? Right? Because at the end of the day, as a small business owner, you're focusing on business monetization. So if you have 4 million followers, how does he monetize that? First of all, he has to take them away from TikTok. He cannot sell anything on TikTok. So he has to take them away from TikTok. So if you're moving people away from TikTok, where are you moving it to? Most people move them to YouTube or Instagram. The smart people move them to their website, to an opt-in page. And I actually saw a guy do that. Like his link in TikTok is it's just an opt-in page. And I was like, that's smart, because now you take your followers and you're capturing them and you're following with them, like we said yesterday, in an email, in a text, or something like that. So I think the biggest challenge of people looking at social media is going, it's the overwhelm. Where do I go? And like all the content that I have to create.
Well, that's what here Crizel and Natalie are both saying. A lot to keep up with. I'm trying to focus on Facebook and Instagram, and that's almost a full-time job, not just to inform and attract, but to also increase relevance and online presence. And then Natalie says, totally agree. I'm a realtor and an online marketer. Lots of work outside of work just to keep up. And so what's your instinct around that? When people feel like it's really sucking up their time, is it that they're on too many platforms? Is it that they're just not doing it right? Or is it that, no, that's just what you have to do. You have to spend the time.
So relationship take time. That's the problem, right? We all forget. Relationship take time. And if you are really trying to build genuine relationship with people that eventually will become your clients, then you have to invest the time in that relationship. And so the question again is like, how do you build relationships? Is it only by one-way talking and posting? That's going to build a relationship. Is it by them consuming you? Is that going to be the relationship? Or is a two-way conversation where you're conversing with them, and that's how you build a relationship? And if it's a conversation, which is what I prefer, then you don't create so much content, but you are more focusing on the engagement. Where is my audience? Let me go to their post, their conversation, and let me say something beneficial on their stuff, because nobody else does, right? So you can cut your full-time job by creating a post a day that you automate, right? Or you just bring up your phone for 5 minutes a day. You go like, okay, 1 p.m. before I go lunch, I'm just going to post a story on Instagram. I'm just going to post a video on TikTok. I'm just going to do this one thing, right? You automate that, or you put like 5 minutes a day. This is what I do. And the rest of the time, while you're on the toilet, going like this on your phone, you go to the people that you want to engage with, and you leave a smart comment on their stuff. And soon enough, you will have way more followers and clients and people coming to look up your stuff than if you would create these content calendars and these videos and images, assets, and all that stuff. If you focus on a conversation, 5 people a week, that's it. 5 people a week that you go and engage on their stuff, you're going to build an audience and a clientele way faster than you would if you try to be on everywhere at once. The one thing though that I would say that is kind of like outside of all that stuff is Google My Business. So Google My Business, if you have a business, put your business on Google My Business, because that's your mark in Google search, in Google Map, in YouTube if you can get there. So because Google is still the biggest search engine on the planet, and it owns the second largest search engine, which is YouTube, you want to have a presence on Google. For better or for worse, we love to hate Google, but you got to be there. So focus most of your time on Google My Business, and then go and engage with your audience, and just forget all that hustle of like content creation and images and videos and all that stuff, because that's not relationship.
So Natalie says on Facebook, is the best way to build relationships in groups or rooms?
So I don't know. That's a good question.
Would you rather spend your time having your own group and moderating it and trying to get people to be in your group, or going around to groups and just interacting and engaging with people in other people's groups?
Going around the groups.
Yeah.
So for a few reasons, right? Like I don't build my home on rented properties. So I'll never invest in actually building groups on Facebook. I will do that on my website and my community, and stay tuned for that for July 22nd. I'll show you how. Shameless plug. But most people, right? Like there's so many groups already. Like there's so much, right? Like how many groups are you a member of, Paul? Tons.
Well, I've done a lot of house cleaning, because again, what I find is, all right, so to answer your question, I'm probably in like 3 or 4 groups, and that's it. Because I've found that groups tend to be these spaces, especially in my hypnotist world, like it's almost always hypnotists talking with other hypnotists. And I don't get that. I get how you would want to talk shop a little bit with your colleagues, but the hypnotism groups on Facebook are dominated by hypnotists. And I'm like, so how are you getting leads? You're going to just sell your stuff to other hypnotists all the time?
Right.
Like, so it seems to me more like if you're going to join a group that isn't in your specialty, that's something you still care about. Like, I don't know, join a wellness group, or join a meditation group, or join something else that you still connect somehow to what you do, where you're talking with other people, not other peers necessarily.
Yeah. So we're talking small business, right? And so Jeff Bennick is asking, what would be wise to start on? So let's just take the groups and the rooms for a second and just focus on Facebook, but you can apply this to any other group and any other blog and any other social platform, right? So if you are a mortgage lender, right, the groups that you will join would be realtors. So why? Because it's in the same niche and all of them need your services and you're not competing with them, you're helping them. So a group of realtors will be a fantastic place to engage for a mortgage planner because that's what you do. You bring your expertise to people who need that. If you're a hypnotist and you're helping people with weight loss, all the weight loss groups will be fantastic for you. And that answers Natalie's question, how do you engage without seeming like a fake? If you really care about that stuff, then you can't fake it. If you have to fake it, then you don't care about it, don't engage in the group, right? So if you are a hypnotist that really is passionate about helping people with their weight loss, when you go to the weight loss group, you'll be like, do this, oh my God, do this is super cool, why don't you try this, blah, 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 right? You'll be like so engaging because that's your passion. You love helping people lose weight with hypnosis. You'll be like, check out this resource and this is a great book, and if you want, jump on a call with me, I'll help you for that. You know, that's your passion, that's your engagement, this is your world. So if you're a mortgage planner, real estate. If you're a hypnotist with weight loss group. If you're a wedding planner, then bride groups and stuff like that, right? Not the wedding planner group on Facebook, but the brides and the grooms and the event planners and the flowers and the food, the catering, all the stuff that you geek out about regardless of what you're doing. Be a part of that one because a few things. A, it'll show you what's happening in the industry with your clients and what other people are doing. It will allow you to expand what you know, your knowledge, without actually having to take courses to expand your knowledge. These people care about the same thing that you care about. So now you're geeking out with them about the same stuff that you care about. And it's effortless. It's what you love to do. You love talking about textures and colors and lights and flowers, right? So that's what you do anyway. So do that in the groups that have your clients and your audience. And that way, you don't have to go and create so much content. You don't have to struggle with like, what am I going to talk about? You don't have, because things will come up and you'll just respond to them, right? Because nobody's responding to anything anymore.
Right. Yeah, that's I killed a Facebook page the other day. I deleted a Facebook page. I deleted a Facebook page, and I'm ready to delete my Facebook group because I realized, I was like, I'm going to spend more time trying to get that group going if I spent the same amount of time engaging in multiple groups. I'd have more reach to more people. What happens, right, is we get our egos in it and we're like, but it's my group, right?
But is it your group? That's the question. Is it?
But that's what happens, right? Is it's mine. I want to have my group. And you're like, why? What's that going to do? Like, it's the relationships, so you know what?
This is a great thing. So first of all, Adil is saying good topic for small business. Glad you guys are talking about it. You're welcome.
He's going on the wheel.
He is. Actually, we got Jeff on the wheel and Adil on the wheel and Crystal on the wheel and Natalie and
somebody's
Lee.
Getting cookies. I'm telling you, someone's getting cookies.
I think that was that's it, Paul. You should just
that's what it
like,
is.
You know,
just gotta make cookies every week. All right, I will if I have to.
There we go. Maybe I'll make some hummus. I'll send you. Well, hummus is not. You can't mail hummus, but otherwise you would enjoy hummus. But here's the thing with groups, right? I think what happened with Facebook group, and I think we're all kind of feeling the same thing, is that it's not a group, it's a fan club. And you're always worried that if you're going to join a group, what can I say? What can I not say? Are they going to kick me out, right? So do you like, okay, well, since it's their group, not my group, I should have my group and I should decide who says what in my group, right? And the problem with that is that there's no engagement in these groups. They're dead, right? Because if you make it a fan club and if you censor everybody, then nobody's talking about anything. Then there's nothing there. And so that's why I think we're all kind of like belong to so many groups that we're not really participating in, because you're like, I don't want to get kicked out. And so let's see what other people are saying. And the challenge is that even if you have 10,000 people in a Facebook group, and you go like, that's my group, it's not your group, because you can wake up tomorrow and you're out of Facebook, you can't log in, you don't have access to your group, you don't have that audience, And Facebook decides what you see, what people see, and what they don't see. So you're not really in control of any of that stuff. So you go and you put so much effort and money into ads, into your Facebook group that you don't even control.
Right? That's what, yeah. And so Adil says, others are saying that you need a group to grow your business. And I'm like, yeah. And who are others? This is where, again, I think we have to be careful. But I bought into that. I kept hearing people say Facebook groups are the new big thing. You got to have a Facebook group. You got to have a Facebook. And I'm like, okay. And then I started doing it. And I was like, why? Like, what is this really doing? I'll tell you what it's doing. It's generating boatloads of data for Facebook.
Exactly. And you know what? That's why I'm worried about rooms, right? Because Facebook goes like, we're not listening to what people are talking in rooms. I'm like, really? So Google used that, right? Like Google used Hangouts and Voice to create Google Home and perfect their voice recognition software. And now Facebook is trying to do the same with rooms. So do you really want all your conversations to go through the Facebook mill, information mill? And come on, say something that was it a bulky moment?
No, you're
okay,
right.
Good. Actually, the Facebook mill works. Okay, fantastic. So that's the question, right? So do you really want to hang out and have all your conversations and all your discussions go through the same system that's going to turn around and sell that conversation into someone else, to the highest bidder? Or you spend the same amount of time and money to build your own community on your own properties, whether it's your website, whether it's Telegram, whether it's your website, these two options. But that's what we got, right? So when you're looking, I think the bottom line is deciding what you want to achieve, build an audience, sell your stuff, right? Which one are you going for? If you're selling your stuff or building your audience, where are your buyers hanging out?
And that's what Russell Brunson, who we know is a multi-millionaire, right? He calls that go where the congregation is.
There you go.
He's like, if you're a Baptist, you don't go to the Catholic church, you go to the Baptist church. That's where the congregation hangs out, right?
Right.
So that's, yeah.
Well, that's a little different, isn't it? Because like, if you want to recruit Baptist, you're a Catholic and you want to recruit the Baptist, you have to go to the Baptist church.
If you want to convert, you want to convert people, but at first, if you just want to find the people, you have to go to where they congregate, right? Like,
exactly.
So, if you want to, I don't know, there's now that I got so locked in on the church episode, I can't think of a different example, but
okay. So if you're not going to go to, if you're selling vegan food, you're going to go to a vegan restaurant, not a barbecue.
Right. You're not going to hang out at the regular supermarket probably, but you're going to go, hang out at the vegan market and try to find the people who really are putting traffic through there. Right. So that's the big thing that I think a lot of small business people, they get so human beings and in my world
that you love so much.
Human beings get focused on the things. Rather than like the idea or the principle, right? So I see all the time when I'm at convention or something like that, people are like, Paul, you do all these interviews and you do these shows, and they're like, what camera do you use and what microphone? And I'm like, none of that matters. Like what are you gonna do when you create? Like, what's the point of creating? That's what matters. How do you get people in and have honest conversations with them? That's what matters. Like, it doesn't matter what your lighting setup is or your microphone or, like people get too caught up in that stuff. So again, that's even what's sort of happening here a little bit, right? Is which social platform should I be using? Really, in some ways, what we're saying is that doesn't matter. It's what are you trying to accomplish? And to an extent, you can do that on almost any platform. It's just going to be harder on some platforms than others because of the platform DNA, the culture at the platform might make it a little hard. Like I would never, and if I, come on, are you going to try to build your business at Snapchat?
No.
No, right? Because the way that people use Snapchat,
right.
And again, I get, at one point, Gary was all about Snapchat and he had strategies that were getting him fine, but for most of us, no. Like, I'm not building my business at Snapchat. I'm
But
not
it's also
building
your
my
audience
business
is
at
not
Twitter.
there, right? So your audience is not there. So, okay, so let's talk about that for a second because we're running out of time. But I love that you guys loving it. So, the other thing that you should take into account is what are you comfortable doing, right? Are you comfortable going on video and talking? YouTube is your thing. Are you comfortable,
Exactly.
right? Are you comfortable just writing like random thoughts that come to your mind? Twitter is your thing. Are you comfortable images? Instagram is your thing, right? So you have I said at the beginning, you have two things to decide. You have three things to decide. Know thyself. How do you like to communicate with people? Is it only
Yes.
text? Is it video? Is it audio? Podcast is your thing, right? Is it writing? Blogging is your thing, right? So what do you like to do? What would you do if you did not get paid to do it, right?
Yeah.
How would you communicate with people? Decide that. Now that you
Yeah.
know which way you like to communicate, now decide, okay, what do I want? To build an audience or to sell my stuff?
I'm
Now-
so glad that you said that because I literally just said that today to my mentor group, to my mentorship group. I said, listen, stop trying to be something you're not. And especially in America, right? We have this educational system that so focuses on weaknesses and improving weaknesses, right? And yes, we do need to improve our weaknesses, but we over focus on that here in America, right? What if we just start with what you feel good doing? Like if you like to write more. If you like to make videos, make more videos. If you like to just talk, but you don't like the idea that there's a camera on you, then start podcasting. I would rather see one of my mentees write an entire book and give it away to people and not make a dime on it, but give it away to create followership and have people reach out to them and want to talk about the book and all that kind of stuff, right? I'd rather see that than see them trying to do something that they really don't like doing.
And if you don't like doing it, you're not going to stick with it. And like
Yeah.
Paul and I now had a conversation this morning, things take time, right? It takes time to see results. It takes time to get people engaged. It takes time to do all that stuff. You're just not going to be there for the long haul. So you're just going to quit. You're going to quit, before you saw the results. You're like, that doesn't work for me. It does. It just takes time. You can speed it up with ads, but it still takes time.
Yeah.
So Adil is asking, there are groups where your ideal audience is, but usually they are gated as the admin doesn't want a bunch of advertisers advertising, buy my stuff. How do you create value? And also, how do you present yourself to the admin so you are allowed in the group? So it's a great conversation. It's a great question. And it's kind of like the same question that Natalie was asking.
Right.
How do you not be fake? So how do you add value? You add value. How do you not appear as a salesperson that says, buy my stuff, buy my stuff? You don't say, buy my stuff, right? People will buy from you not because you ask them to buy from you, but because you help them and they trust that you can help them further. So how do you add value? You just share information and add value and answer questions and send to resources and really try to help people. Frank Kern says it all the time. Show them that you can help by actually helping.
And you know what? I think that I think people get nervous about, and again, some of our comments today have touched on this, is like, but it's so much time and it's so much effort. And it's like, would you rather go back to the old way? Do you want to walk neighborhoods and knock on doors? Right? Because that's the reality is, yeah, it's different. You can trade and go back. Like people do still do that.
Right.
Like but there's no like, I don't have to do anything solution. like either go door to door, knock and do cold sales door to door, go back to cold calling people, right? Like all that stuff still exists in this world.
Yeah, direct mail, right?
Yeah, right? If you want to go back to that stuff, you can, and there are still people making money that way.
Yeah.
But if you don't want to do it, then you have to embrace this new way of doing things. But you're going to put time in one way or the other.
So again, it's like relationships take time, right? We live in this like instant gratification world. It's like, okay, why aren't you my friend already? I don't know you, right? Like I had a conversation with someone yesterday that was introduced to me by a mutual friend, and he goes like, yeah, my partner is friends with you on Facebook, and I'm like, ah, God.
Okay.
Okay, right? Like, I don't know. I'm like, because these are not my friends. We're not talking to each other. I don't know half of the
Right.
people, right? I have like,
Right.
what, almost 5,000? How many do I know? 50? You know?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know them. And so.
And that's that study that came out years ago, right? That dude made that study where he said, look, at the end of the day, you have about 150 people
Yep.
that really make a difference in your life, and all the rest of it is just baloney.
Exactly,
Like,
right?
yeah.
And those 150 people, how many of them are your clients? Right? So if you're, I think this goes back, and maybe we should talk about that, you know, like in another episode of how do I price things, right? And how many people do I need to actually work with? So if you want to make $1,000 a month and your fees are $100, then you only need 10 people. You don't need a group of 10,000 people. You only need 10 people. That's it.
Right.
Right? So all these inflated numbers of like 4 million people, 300,000 people, can you really serve 5,000 people in your small business? As a hypnotist,
Right.
probably not. Right? As a cake,
Right.
as a baker, probably not. As a wedding planner, probably not. Unless you are selling a program, and even in a program, unless you don't have your time invested in it, unless it's something that just people buy,
Right.
then you cannot serve so many people. So forget those numbers. Who cares about them, right?
Yeah.
All you need 5 people a month, right? So add 5 people a month, 3 people a month. Add that to your coaching business, to your hypnotist business, to your baking business, right? And you're good. So we're going to talk about, maybe we should talk about the 1,000 true fans.
Let's do
Yeah.
it. We'll talk next Wednesday. That's what we'll do. We'll link to this really, and we'll keep the conversation going sort of, and we'll drill deeper on that specific idea next Wednesday. That's easy.
Yeah. And then so
Okay.
your homework for this week until next week, Wednesday, is figure out what do you like to do? Writing, talking, video, images. Figure out which one is your jam, which one you're
She
geeking
gave
out
you
on.
guys homework.
I did.
That's
'Cause
where
it's a
we're
business,
getting at.
right? And if
You
you
all
actually
just
wanna
got
make-
duped. You all got duped. Now you got homework. How you like that?
But if you take the time and you pick and you work, then you're going to be
Yes.
better next week, right?
Yep.
And we
Yep.
want to help you in your business and your marketing and your personal development.
Yep.
So your homework, figure out, it's going to make your life so much simpler, right? Which one of these 4 ways you like to communicate? Video, podcasting, writing, pictures. Which one do you like the best? Just do that, right? And then figure out, what do you want? You want to build an audience, or do you want to sell your shit? Okay? Come back next Wednesday in here, and we're going to have a conversation of how to price your services so that you are financially stable, and everything above that is gravy, and you can play with it and you can put it in ads or whatever you want, right? We'll figure out the numbers so that you know that whichever way you want to work with, which platform you're going to focus on. And then you're going to go and focus on that and come back in 4 weeks and be like, ta-da, I got 2 clients, and we'll celebrate with you.
All right. I'm in.
Right? So that's
Nice
your
job
homework.
today, Fat.
Crystal says, I love homework. High five. And congratulations, because all of you are now, see your names, Natalie,
Look at
Carolina,
that.
Crystal, Adil, you
How
all
about it?
have a chance of getting cookies from Paul. We'll tell you that on our happy hour Friday. Tomorrow is a big deal. Tomorrow, if anyone wants to know about investing in real estate, taking advantage of everything that's happening right now with COVID and selling and buying houses, and should you invest, should you not invest, MLS, not MLS, I am bringing to you an expert that is disrupting the real estate market with technology. So tomorrow we're going to be at imthatgeek.com, same time, 11, 1, and 2 p.m. And Jeff says, yay, cookies. I think you just hit it, Paul.
That's it. Now we just keep figuring things out. That's it.
I know.
All right. Happy hump
Are
day,
you gonna
everybody.
put them in like a little nice box with like,
No, I'm just cardboard box.
That's it.
They're probably just gonna come all crumbs by the time they get to you. You'll be fine. Shut up and eat them.
There you go.
Be grateful.
There you go. With milk. Send us some pictures. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Hey, if you enjoyed today's episode, come back and spend more time with us. You could be on the broadcast sharing your thoughts. We hang out live Monday through Friday at 2 p.m. Eastern at www.bethenakedtruth.com/live.